What is going on, everyone? How are you doing? I hope you're doing good, because it is good to feel good. And we are about to get political once again. So, as part of the upcoming general election that's happening here, a new challenge of all things has been launched. It's called the Power to Decide Challenge, where content creators here in the UK are encouraging people to vote and talking about the important factors of doing so. So, because I am a content creator here in the UK, my mission is to essentially get across why you should vote and why it's important that you do so. And this is actually being uploaded after the deadline to register your vote, so if you haven't registered your vote, then I'm sorry, this video is probably not for you. But if you have registered your vote, then congratulations, you're one step forward to voting on June the 8th. And now, here are my thoughts and opinions on why you should vote. So, to start off with a little bit of background information about this general election, it's happening on Thursday, June the 8th, 2017, and it's happening as a result of a 2/3 majority vote that was recently cast in the House of Commons. Now, according to the Fixed Terms Parliament Act of 2011, it states that while an election must happen every 5 years, a vote of no confidence or a 2/3 majority vote can trigger an election at any time. The latter happened, hence why we're having this election now, which is pretty exciting. This election will be a perfect opportunity to get those 18 or above, and especially those who have just recently turned 18, to cast their vote. And with those who have turned 18, it'll be, you know, their first time voting, and, you know, they can now finally have a say in, you know, what happens with this country. Like, they can vote on referendums, they can vote in elections. It's a very exciting prospect to vote in an election or something like that. Now that people are 18, they now have this privilege to vote. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago in the 2015 general election, this was when I had recently just turned 18, and this was my first time voting, and I was pretty excited. However, I remember a lot of my friends at the time were very reluctant to vote, even though some of them had just turned 18, or, you know, they were older than 18. Like, they just didn't want to vote. Like, some of them said, you know, they didn't really see the point in it, and said stuff like, you know, my vote doesn't matter or something, and just others were just did not see the point in it and did not understand politics. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why people don't vote. I hear a lot of people being negative towards the idea of voting and saying things like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. In the long run, it does. Even the smallest amount of votes could have a big impact on the overall result. Also, I hear a lot of, oh, I can't be bothered to vote. Maybe you haven't read a certain party's manifesto. Now, each political party has their own manifesto filled with, you know, policies that they're for and against, and, you know, new laws that they'll bring into place, and, you know, their aims for the next few years. And now to talk about a few things about what happens when you don't vote. So, by not voting, you're essentially leaving this very important decision that you could be making in the hands of others. So, without your say, their decision is the one that matters. And, like, you know, it may be something you completely disagree with, but at the end of the day, you don't have your say because you didn't vote for, you know, this government to be in power or something. Also, a general election happens on the cycle of every 5 years, so the likelihood is the next election probably won't be until 2022. So until then, you know, you've got to wait until that election to, you know, cast your vote. So in the last election that took place in 2015, 34% of registered voters didn't vote. This was a majority as opposed to the Conservative Party with 24% and the Labour Party with 20%, which ironically more people didn't vote than support either party. In the 2005 election, 38% of registered voters didn't vote, and this was almost a bigger turnout than that of Labour and Conservatives combined. With these figures, it then starts to become clear. First of all, too many people are silent. By not voting, you're essentially leaving the government to be chosen by others. Second of all, if non-voters vote, then anything becomes possible. And if you don't vote, then the protest will be larger than the vote for the two main parties, which at the moment are Conservatives and Labour. So before I conclude this video, I want to quickly say that by not voting, it simply makes you silent and invisible. And before you miss this chance to vote, think to yourself, who gains if you don't vote? The simple answer is They do, not you. Here's why. Voting in a democracy is the way in which ordinary people like you and me have some kind of power over, say, the corporations or, you know, the state or those with more wealth and power. And as a result of voting, we have things such as, you know, education, healthcare, safer work, and pensions, and we didn't always used to have those. Like, you know, times in history in this country, you know, there were a lot more different things that happened before these all came into place, and obviously these things have all come into place as a result of voting. And if you don't use your vote, then our politics is weakened and ordinary people are weakened as well. With weaker politics, it means the banks, the corporations, and those with all the wealth have all that power, and that's a kind of direction we're heading in right now. By not voting, you weaken ordinary people and suggest, you know, we don't even care. To conclude this video, what I will say is don't let this privilege go to waste and don't vote, because you don't want your decision to be made by others who, you know, may have an opposing opinion. Leave it to your own devices and determine who you would vote for on June the 8th. It's your decision to make, and you have that power to decide. Thank you. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. That's me being political, and that is the power to decide. Thank you very much for watching, and like, comment, subscribe, and share the love. See ya.